3 Nigeria Info.
And we're back on Dailies today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate your time. Let's start with this one. 7-day ultimatum to Fulani herders. Presidency, Akeredolu at war. Riders, Akeredolu can't tell herders to leave Ondo. Presidency. My ultimatum stands. Ondo governor.
Yeah. Now, I'd like us to listen carefully. Please listen carefully so that we can have a very good understanding of what I'm about to say, because I'd hate to be misquoted or to be misunderstood. Now, essentially, you have a security problem with the some parts of Ondo State, the reserves.
Yeah.
Okay? And the governor issued an ultimatum, or the governor is said to have issued an ultimatum specifically to the Fulani herders to leave that region. Okay? That is what is being reported here. And the presidency now says that, you can't tell, herders, you can't tell people to leave a particular region. And I'm sure they're looking at the constitutional sides of things and also the implication and the way it could be misunderstood. Now, so what is the problem? We have a security problem. What do we want to do? We want to solve the security problem. Now, it was reported that the governor told them to leave, and this newspaper says, this is Vanguard, it says that an ultimatum to Fulani herders, Akeredolu can't tell herders to leave Ondo. The presidency says so, and this is the ultimatum stands. But what is the ultimatum of the governor? Let me read it so that you have a fair understanding.
Yes,
it says, Special Advisor to the Governor on Security Matters said the state government was determined to put an end to kidnappings and so on. It says, those perpetrating the heinous acts are using the forest to cover up their crimes. So they are criminals in the forest. There is therefore need to flush out the criminals from the forest. Fair enough. While he declined to give details of when the state government would effect the directive, he says this is a security matter not for consumption, and so on and so forth. He says, but I want to advise those operating within the forest legally to register with the state government. Now, so that this is not, I don't think this translates to mean that everybody has been given.
Leave.
What I get from what Ondo State is saying here is that if you are in the forest legally, come and register. It's a simple matter.
Let's know you.
Let's know you. But everybody has jumped into it because a lot of people have their own personal, let me use street word, beefs with various things. So what do you now have? You now have in other newspapers, for example, it says, your government, Afenifere, YCE, kick, as Fulani, the thing has been blown up. And it's gradually being blown up into an ethnic matter. It's blown up into an ethnic matter by various interests.
Right.
Okay, there are certain groups of people either who have their beef with the northerners from only God knows, and believe you me, it's a political matter. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a political matter, and I'm not going to pass judgment on who is right or who is wrong, because a political thing is like a religious thing. It depends on what side of the divide you're looking at, what kind of part of the spectrum you're looking at, the inside of the spectrum.
Right.
Okay, so Oyo State, for example, is saying, don't fan embers of disunity. The Yoruba Council of Elders, trying to soften things, are saying, not all Fulani are bad. And I agree.
Yeah.
And they don't tell them, fish out the culprits. Okay? He has no power to expel anyone but Afenifere and Oyo Seriki Fulani, who are Fulani, some of them are actually born there, just like you have Ogbomoso people controlling the taxi thing in the north. They are saying that, look, this is a source of livelihood. What I am going to plead with everybody is that we have a security problem nationwide.
Yes, we do.
It's not any different even in the north. Even look at this newspaper here. The Nation says, the north under siege, elders cry out. And it says the north is under the siege of insurgents and bandits. So we know that. The Boko Haram and all kinds of things. So let us not turn this thing into an ethnic matter.
Right.
I think that the very least that can happen is to have dialogue between the two attorney generals, or better still, Akeredolu, bearing in mind that what he wants in his state is peace.
Yeah.
He should not allow people with various other interests push him into confrontation of any form, because it's not going to help him. As a governor, as a leader of people, you must have at the back of your mind that what you want ultimately, and I think what he wants, whether is peace, he should dialogue with the federal government. In fact, he should work with them. And the federal government too shouldn't see him as an enfant terrible who's trying to stir up whatever. They should work with him. Because at the end of the day, it is our people that suffer. I will not encourage any form of expansion of this issue that can easily be resolved by a telephone call and meeting of two adults. I would not encourage people who have their own personal, let me use the street word, beef. To jump into the fray and then begin to make life completely uncomfortable. There are loads of frustrated people in our country.
You're not wrong.
People who want relevance. They don't want to take part in politics. They want relevance bestowed on them. We have to find a way to make these people irrelevant. So to my good, Akeredolu is my very good friend, was my classmate and so on. I'm going to be pleading to him, don't allow anybody push you. You have enough problems in your state. Don't allow your state to become some kind of battleground for any ethnic imbalance, for any ethnic problems. Toe the path of dialogue.
It's always very difficult to end it.
It's always difficult. It's always difficult. And I need to talk to my colleagues in the media. You want to sell your newspapers at the risk of what? Listen to the words of Jonathan, that man. Listen to what he said. That it is not worth spilling blood because of one man's or one group of people's ambition. So even in the headlines that we are casting, 7-day ultimatum, presidency, Akeredolu at war, they are not at war. Come on, gentlemen. Which paper is this? Vanguard. They are not at war. These kinds of headlines that can ignite, like I say, I don't think we appreciate the multitude of problems that we have, be it health or otherwise, that we have at this moment. And the last thing I think we need to, to have is any ethnic or whatever infraction in the country.
Right. Remember, this already in the Southwest. So your state had their fair share. They've been dealing with their own fair share of the confrontations lately now. And like you mentioned earlier, these are things that could have been easily resolved.
But you see, activism is the best. After religion, the next profitable venture, especially if luckily, Buhari is not known to be that generous with government funds. But we have a fair idea of what some people suck from the state government in the form of activism. It's the latest business that people want to do after religion. It is a profitable venture.
So we need to be careful what we hear and consume.
We need to be careful what we hear and what we consume. It's a profitable venture. It's in Nigeria, I see husband and wife being involved in activism and are living like the elites. What are you talking about here? The idea, when you run these NGOs, to be honest with you, most times you're not supposed to take them as a full-time job. Ganifa Wemi had his law practice.
Right.
Beko Ransom Kuti had his clinic.
Thriving.
Olisak Bakoba had his practice. But to Tommy, he's lecturer doing all kinds of things. So it's not supposed to be a 24/7 job, but that's what we have in Nigeria.
Very true.
I don't have any problem with anybody who decides to make a 24/7 job, as long as he doesn't destabilize the polity, which is what a lot of these people are doing. So we need to be absolutely careful.
Right. Let's move. Let's stay with the Vanguard. Governor Bello rejects COVID-19 vaccine, says it's meant to kill. It has a rider. Mind your utterances. APC group warns governor.
Well, according to this story that I'm reading.
Wait, before you read, did you see the video?
Of what he said?
Yes.
No, yes. I would. If I
send a video, I will send it to you.
I won't. Any video that has Bello inside, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I have a choice.
Normally I share a lot of videos online, but when I saw that one, I said, no way.
No,
I am not sharing this video.
No. Governor Bello, I'm sorry to say, luckily his power cannot. I know what he can do to people in Kogi. He cannot reach me in Lagos.
Cannot touch.
Sanwo-Olu has provided anointing and cover for me here. But put that joke aside.
Yeah.
is one of the most immature leaders I've ever seen in this country. The most immature, and I'm being absolutely polite. I could use another word, but I can get away with saying that I perceive
yes,
him
you can.
as being immature. Do you know why? A leader has certain responsibilities. It is when I come and do this program, there are certain views that I put across because, yes, I believe that's the right thing to say and the right thing to do, but I'm a human being. I have my sentiments.
Right.
I have to subsume them.
Yeah.
I have my prejudices. I'm a human being. Everybody has prejudices.
Yeah.
I have to subsume them. That is what you call maturity in public space. He doesn't observe that. Look at this story here. I am sorry. Look at the story. It says that government has discouraged the use of COVID-19 vaccine, which the whole world is depending on. Only instant alone in this case. The whole world, and saying that the jabs are meant to kill people. I think the producers of the vaccine should sue him when his tenure is over.
Right.
Yes, because you're accusing them of selling poisons. I think they should sue him.
You need to see that video.
And as a leader, you know that the whole world is depending on this to curtail whatever it is. Even if it's not effective in the long run, at least it would give some succor in the short run.
Right.
The whole world is talking about vaccines and this. You know, he said initially that there was no COVID.
Yes.
You remember the for example, there was a chief imam who said he had COVID. The man who had COVID said he had COVID. You said he didn't have COVID. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to. Somebody has said to me, Jimi, you always say that we need a young leader. Governor Bello is not too young. He's not a toddler.
He's not.
He's not a toddler. And I think that he misunderstands what immunity is all about. Immunity doesn't give you the license to kill, doesn't give you the license to say anything as you deem it fit. There's always judgment day. And I think this is a very irresponsible statement. I'm not saying he is irresponsible, but this statement in public space is irresponsible. I would have been happy, or I would have been happier, or I would have been less angry if he said that he doesn't believe in the vaccine. But he shouldn't say that publicly because he's a leader of people.
Yeah.
But for him to now add that the COVID is meant to kill. So all the efforts of all the countries of the world would come to naught if everybody believed Governor Bello. It's up to him. It's up to him.
And
but
I also think that he should be held responsible if anyone fails to take that vaccine and the person fails to take the vaccine because the person listened to him. I think he should be held responsible.
I'm not sure he watches CNN to see what is going to happen.
Because the same thing that happens to radio stations. If radio station puts something out there and somebody follows it and something happens, they come at the radio station and accuse radio station of so many things. Well, he's saying this publicly. I mean, Jimmy, you should see that video. He was so sure of what he was saying.
No,
he was so sure.
Well, what does
he was saying, if you take it, don't say I did not warn you.
But what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
It's very scary.
And what does it tell you? If you say you can't say it, say you can't say it. What does it tell you?
Man.
Sheriff, what occurred to you? What does it tell you?
What is it?
If you like, you know, I've left the Bello story.
Yeah.
I've left it aside. Okay, I just want to make a general comment that I wish we could set exams for. I'm not talking about Bello story now, but I wish we could set exams. Both what do they call it? This what do you call this one? They set exams to get a job, aptitude test and things like that, and a bit of medicals before we choose our leaders. You can go to the.
But you know that's why we have what's it called now?
Did you hear what
the
I
debate.
Said? Did you hear what I said?
Okay, let's go.
I said I wish we could do aptitude test
and some medicals.
It will help.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear, really. It's sad. It's very sad, honestly speaking. It's sad.
You know,
It's sad.
our people need to shine their eyes in 2023.
It's really sad.
That is why anybody who wants to take up any position, let us encourage him to come out now so we can observe him over time.
Yeah. Oh, you're right on that.
But a state that produces... I get it now. I get it now. You know, the same state produced that senator. It must be in the diets. It must be in the diets.
You did not say that.
No, I didn't mention...
No offense, though, if you're from Kogi, no offense at all.
No offense, but I'm sorry, my Kogi friends, but...
Wow, Jimmy.
I'm sorry, but I always take a jab at there's a common friend. Okay, you don't know him, common friend of ours. I always take a jab at him.
Yeah.
You know that. How could you produce that? Let's go.
Okay, let's go to the nation today. This is a commentary, by the way. Which one are we taking now?
Both. I'll take them one by one.
Okay, let's impunity writ large. Retired DIG still holding on to official. Oh my goodness me.
Yes. There are two fantastic editorials in the Nation that you must read. You must. The first one talks about optical chasm. And it says, is it Nigerians that are not seeing what the president is seeing in the service chiefs of it? You know, the president's spokesperson said that Nigerians are not seeing what the president is seeing. 200 million of us are not seeing what one man is seeing. And so the Nation then asks, so when Shehu says that President Buhari is seeing what Nigerians are not seeing, we are worried whether such insights are not delusional. Many who have called for the sacking of service chiefs base their call on the glaring inability to curtail the insurgency. Those who make the call rely on the failed promises of the service chiefs. They also rely on the complaints from serving military officers and men that the available men and machineries do not match the assignment given to them. So essentially, the presidential spokesman says, in the area of the service chiefs, the president knows what he's doing. We are not seeing what he's seeing. And the Nation takes him up on that. And they end it by saying that, nevertheless, since the president is deemed to see better than other Nigerians, we will hold him to the promise that 2021 is going to be very decisive in dealing with Boko Haram banditry and kidnapping. Now, the other one, impunity writ large, I cannot explain it. It was reported last week, and the story missed me. You know, we had it here, but we didn't have enough time.
Right.
That there's a retired DIG called James Okpara. Okay? He's still holding on to the keys of the official residence of the DPO in Ilukweju. Okay? And he was at that time he was an acting DPO for only 3 months. And they said, okay, these are the quarters of acting DPO. Since 1999, they have refused to surrender the keys. According to the Punch story, he also put some woman in there. And so the Nation says that the import is that subsequent DPOs transferred to the Vision have been denied the use of the facility. The current DPO I hear stays in a hotel. So the man in 1999 was an acting DPO for only 3 months. Yeah. And since then, he's later retired, and since then has refused to surrender the keys. This is what the Nation says amongst all other things. It says, we wonder why a matter as obvious as this should take the police authorities eternity to resolve. Right. Okay. Right. 1999 till date is almost about 19 years. And it says, unless there is something about the law that the police authorities know that Nigerians do not know, DIG Okpara's alleged squatter, he put a squatter there. Baba, he doesn't live in that place, don't become DIG, big man, can't live in DPOs. But he put a squatter there. The place, I saw the photographs myself, the place even looks so directly, obviously, because of lack of care. I think the community could have fixed. It was the community, the police, civil community, that called the attention of the whole world to what is going on.
But what does that say about the police authority, the police as an organ of government?
You tell me.
I mean, how is that so impossible to take over?
Only in Nigeria.
I don't.
You take an acting position for 3 months.
Yeah.
Since 1999, you rose to the whatever of DIG, retired. Yeah. You still have a squatter there. And by the way, the squatter we hear, I read in the papers, is a woman. Maybe it could be his sister.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it could be his sister. It could be, it could be. And the Inspector General must wade into the matter by. Oh, this is a simple,
Why should we have to go? That's exactly my point. Why should we have to bother the man with things like this?
It says, contrary to what retired DIG, when Quadry was contacted by the authorities, he said, it's a police matter. And we are saying it is not.
It's not a police matter.
Why has it been so difficult, even since this thing came to the fore, for Quadry to tell his quarter to leave? Ego has come in.
My God.
Ego. But this is what the nation says. It says, the story as reported is a terrible, bad example of policeman's inhumanity to fellow policemen. And if this has been the situation in an Ibra part of Lagos for 20 years with people who know their rights as victims, we can only imagine how many such or even worse. If a man at DPO level is being subjected to this by a retired DIG, not even a man, so many DPOs have come and gone.
Yeah, very true. So many.
So you cannot see part of the problems that we have, not just with the police, but with us as a nation.
Right. I know. Let's take one last story because we're almost out of. Yeah, I know.
I was just warming up.
No, don't warm up. You don't. Let's go to the punch. Treat malaria symptoms as COVID-19, says Sanwo-Olu.
You can see the frustration in this statement. You can the frustration is evident there. But I wish that the governor had allowed the commissioner say this so that he can give a full explanation as to what this could mean. This could lead to panic.
Oh.
It could lead, I know the intention is noble.
Yeah.
But the choice of words and who is saying it needs for the Commissioner for Health. And I think it's time we had a chief medical officer of the state. I don't know if we have. But I think it's time a lot of these duties were pushed to him because the commissioner is bogged down by running the ministry, running this. We need a chief medical officer who will be briefing us about this. This idea of the governor being the incident commander and all these things, I think we just need a chief medical officer of the state who would have been able to put a phone call through now to say that, look, what do you mean by this? What it means really is that there is a fear that a lot of people who might have COVID would think that they just have malaria.
Right.
But with the way it is said without a full-blown explanation, it's going to set. So what they're going to have is some people will say that if you have malaria, you have COVID. You know how people just here in the studio. If you ask somebody to call in what I just said now, you can imagine the interpretation. So yes, Governor, I understand that. I think part of the solution also is for us to make available home kits where you can do this test for yourself at home because
I know your status.
I know your status immediately. Let's even if we can't give them out free, which we really should be doing, considering that this is a national whatever. Let's bring it out. Let's have it subsidized, so you can go to the nearest chemist or wherever it is, pick up one and test yourself, so you know whether My advice to people is this: if you feel anything, go to the nearest lab or hospital and get yourself tested before you administer any drug. Because the COVID test, to the best of my knowledge, is 50K. I hear they say that
when I spoke with the NCDC, they said it's free in all their centers.
Free where?
Wait now. It's free in all their centers. If you're traveling out, then you have to pay.
How do you know if I want
Jimmy,
to
we have to go now.
How do you know if I want to do a COVID test to travel out or if I want to stay?
Because I think there is something they will have to put in your whatever certificate that they give to people that are traveling. So, Jimmy, what's coming up at 9?
So I think...
Wait now, let's go. What's coming up at 9?
No, today is Wednesday now. Today is Devil. That's why
okay.
I'm happy that I'll have some relief at 9 o'clock.
Okay, fantastic.
But to everybody, please do not take the advice of this Kogi doctor. Kogi governor, please.
Jimmy, thank you for coming.
All right.
Many thanks to everybody that tuned in. Many thanks to our sponsors as well, MTN Nigeria. At 8 o'clock, we have the news for you. After the news, we talk land grabbers of Lagos. It sounds like a chieftaincy title. I will discuss it further. Stay here.
Hello! This is a public announcement to our dear customer there. As NCC don't talk and so, MTN go start to link your national identification number, NIN, to the information where you provide during your SIM registration to help join your NIN number to your...
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.